because I don't have a go live.
All right, we're live.
I'm on mute, which doesn't help us go live. Hello and welcome to this month's Knowledge Quest for video. This month we're going to go over the effective use of AI in telehealth. With me, my name is Chris Tankersley. I am a developer advocate here at Vonage, doing primarily video. And with me today is Michael Vernick, one of our customer solutions architects.
Hi, everybody. Yes, Michael Vernick. I'm a solutions architect, customer facing. And today, both Chris and I are going to discuss how AI can effectively help telehealth applications. So let me start by giving just a little agenda. We'll talk about the current state of telehealth today, and then how AI is really changing the landscape for telehealth applications. We're going to talk about some of the Vonage AI solution components that can enhance telehealth, such as captions, transcriptions, remote patient monitoring, virtual assistants, and then end up with some client-side AI processing. During the talk, Chris is going to show some solution demonstrations and code along the way. We're going to go back and forth. So just if you have any questions, put the questions in chat and we will try to get to them. And just know that every application is unique. And if you want to ask specific questions for your specific setup, feel free to do it. It's a general overview today. But if your questions aren't answered, please reach out to us. We will get to that at the end we'll get our email addresses at the end of the talk. All right, so let's start with the current state of telehealth, where we are today. Next slide. So we know that telehealth is here to stay. I use it constantly with physical therapy, a bunch of different places, but COVID really changed a lot. Although the usage of telehealth has decreased from the peak pandemic levels, it still remains significantly higher than pre-pandemic rates. In-person visits since COVID have gone up again, but telehealth insurance claims, for example, are still around 11 to 20%, a substantial increase from less than 1% back in 2009. Within policy and legislation, there's policies that continue to support telehealth, extending many of the Medicare beneficiaries, policies that were put in place during the pandemic. And in the last 4 or 5 years, telehealth has really expanded beyond just basic video calls to include a wide range of applications and services, becoming a much more integrated part of healthcare delivery. Next slide, please. Okay, so the Department of Health and Human Services provides some recommendations for accessibility in telehealth platforms. They recommend including features like having an available interpreter, live speech to text captions, high contrast displays, and automatic transcriptions. And these come in at all parts of the patient journey. Next slide. So the FCC also has a new rule that will be valid on January 12, 2027. It's the Access to Video Conferencing Rule 24-95. And the goal is basically to ensure that people with disabilities have equal access to video conferencing. And that includes having live captions available. It means also having live captions that can be controlled by the user. So a user seeing live captions can make them smaller, bigger, change colors and change fonts, etc. It also requires sign language interpretation to be available if the patient or end user needs it. And there's also some rules around audio descriptions for participants who are blind or have low vision. Okay, so let's now take a look at how AI is changing telehealth in general. So we have, first of all, like personalization of automating care. So generative AI, for example, can assist with insurance coding for diagnosis. It can create medical transcriptions. It can draft referrals, and it can even send pre-authorization letters and claim submissions to insurance companies. So AI is really part of the entire chain of care. We're going to talk a little more in depth about remote patient monitoring, but this is, where you have a human who's monitoring one or more patients that could be at home, could be in a rehab facility. And we're going to talk about how AI is enhancing that particular use case. And finally, we'll talk about what's everybody knows is coming, and these are AI-powered virtual assistants. Nurses, virtual nurses for patient interactions, nurses or doctors for answering care, for doing triage, like clinicians are starting to use AI to collect data from patients before conducting a virtual visit. So let's talk about some of the various solutions. We mentioned a few of these before. We'll go into them into a little more detail. So for example, some of the various solutions are automated translation. So in addition to just live captions, we can do translations of languages, both in a speech to speech or a caption translation. So somebody, a nurse or a doctor speaking one language can have a virtual visit or a telehealth visit with somebody speaking a different language. Again, voice and video AI agents can help answer questions. They can process requests. They can guide users. This is basically allowing organizations to provide 24/7 round-the-clock service as an initial visit. We have the ability to do in-session announcements. So you can have an AI agent who's playing audio messages into a video session. And that could be, for example, used to whisper into a doctor or a nurse's ear based on the conversation with the patient. We do that in contact centers. So a contact center agent may get a whisper from another supervisor, and we can do this with AI today. The other thing we touched on before is about transcriptions and summaries, and this is really providing concise actions and enabling participants to focus on the conversation. So the doctor and the patient, or the two people on the either end of the telehealth call, they can focus on what's being spoken. They don't have to worry about taking notes. And transcriptions and summaries will provide the notes after the telehealth call. And lastly, as we mentioned, live captions. This is just basically the real-time subtitling that you see when you're watching a movie. It's spoken word to text. All right, so first, let's talk a little about the Vonage Live Captions API. So this is a product available by Vonage. It's usable by any of our customers. And again, it improves participant comprehension in some places where if it's a noisy environment, you may not be able to hear somebody. If they're doing captions, you can read what they're actually saying. There's some pricing on here. Our captions API is available, like I said, to all customers, and it's infinitely scalable. It's a product. We have all the infrastructure. It's not something that you would have to provide. We have the infrastructure to enable all the participants in a video call to have live captions, and it can be enabled via the API. It can be turned on and off by each customer or participant in the call. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Chris. He'll show you a little demo, and then talk a little about the code.
Sure. So if we do this properly, come on, switch over to the video. Nope, not that. Okay, it does not want to play. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm not sure why the video is not showing. But we do have a demo of the live caption support in our uh, video
Hi,
reference app. Oh,
this is
there
a
it goes.
demo of the Vonage video live captioning feature.
Yeah, the feature is really great now that it's in our video reference app. Having captions is also really easy using the video APIs.
You can add live captions into any existing video API with a few lines of code.
It helps with all the FCC regulations that are coming.
Great. Well, thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Alex.
Now, if it'll switch back to the slides. There we go. So yeah, so the live captions is all completely self-enclosed inside if you want to use our productized version of it. When you create a subscriber on the front end, you can pass some additional options like whether or not they are publishing captions. And then we also send you events whenever the captions themselves come in so that you can actually do other things with them. We will automatically display them in the UI, but if you have other logging or you need to manipulate them before they go out on the screen, we have those as well. As it was kind of mentioned on the slide, this is kind of the basis for also our transcription functionality. You don't have to use captions to use our transcription, but it's all kind of like pushed from the same backend. And like Michael said, you can turn these on and off on the front end as you need to. But it's basically just a single REST API call and some of the stuff on the back end to actually turn captions on, and then it takes care of everything else for you.
So the next feature that Vonage introduced a little while ago was post-call transcriptions. We have an API that can turn on post-call transcriptions. The transcriptions usually take about a third of the duration of the call. So if you have a 30-minute call, you should have access to transcriptions after about 10 minutes. It's basically the system will automatically generate the transcriptions and place them in a JSON format into our backend services. We can also push those transcriptions into AWS. If a customer has an account in AWS, we can automatically push transcriptions to a separate AWS account. The transcriptions basically are there for you to use. And in addition to creating the transcriptions, and the transcriptions are very detailed. If you're interested, please reach out. We can show you the JSON format. It has all the timing information. It's not just what you would see on the screen or something with the time and text. It's a lot of very specific information. And in addition to providing just the standard transcription, we can also provide a summary of the call. So the transcriptions are generated, and then we have an AI engine that will take those transcriptions and provide a summary. And Chris, why don't you go on? You can show them a demo and then how you can initialize this with the video APIs.
Yep, so let's try to switch this over. Come on. It's like it wants to do it, but then it doesn't want to do it.
The newest and most convenient features of the Vonage video platform is our ability to automatically transcribe and summarize your meetings for you. So here I am currently in the middle of a meeting that I have started an archive on. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more just to generate some text for this, and I will join you right after we get the transcription back so you can take a look at that. Okay, so we've waited a little bit of time. One of the options that come back on your archive is that, the transcription has been done, and we will get the transcription event as well. We can see it's available. We get a URL for it. And in the little sample UI here, it says download transcription. So we're going to go ahead and download that now, and we will show off the transcription from there. So here we can see the transcription file after it is downloaded. We've got the archive ID, what channels, what confidence that we have. We can see that we've got 2 channels because while I was the only one in the meeting, I was connected from 2 different browsers. So we will get 2 channels. And then below that, we have the segments of the transcription. So we can see all the text that was transcribed, the confidence of each of those, and the larger blocks of text based on pauses as people speak.
Yep, and also part of that file is the transcription itself. Let's go back to the slides. So the post-call transcription is just a part of the archive in and of itself. So when you start an archive, you can send some additional properties. For the most part, you can turn on transcription with the has transcription flag. And then if you want to have a summary as well, there is a transcription properties, which you can send the has summary flag. We don't show it on here, but you can also set the language because we do support a variety of languages. Now, it won't do translation, but if you know that a meeting is going to be primarily in French, for example, you can set that as the primary language. Otherwise, we automatically assume that it's going to be English. This all gets sent to you in a single file with a zip, and that JSON format, like Michael says, we have available for you. But that JSON format will basically have all of the text and all of the summary available, so you can programmatically download that file, unzip it, and then process it however you would like.
Okay, thanks, Chris. That's I just love the video editing that Chris does, and all the
When it
fast
works
forward.
anyway.
So next, we're going to talk about the audio connector API, and this is how our customers can build their own audio-based AI solutions. So if you, for example, if you don't want to use Vonage's transcriptions or captions, or you want to build something else and get access to all of the audio within a video call, we have a product called Audio Connector. And basically, our audio connector can connect to your WebSocket server and pass all of the audio along the channel from the Vonage video session into the WebSocket server. And it can support both single or mixed streams. And it's also a little more bandwidth efficient than doing some of these AI services on client side. Next slide. So this kind of shows you kind of how it could potentially work in some of the use cases, right? So the main use cases are we have this audio connector that is sending audio to you. So the secure WebSocket is what the customer would build. And then the customer would integrate either speech to text for, say, captions or transcriptions. They could integrate a speech to speech engine, something like Novasonic. We have a really nice demo of AWS Novasonic where our WebSocket server just sends the speech from Audio Connector. It sends the speech to AWS and it gets speech back, and you can ask questions. It integrates its own LLM, so it's just speech to speech. And then you can build out other workflows. Speech to text, and then if you have your own LLM you want to use, and then text to speech. So there's a bunch of really cool things now that you can do by getting access to all of the audio in the video session. Next slide, please.
So we should have a that wants to switch over. I've got a demo here showing off our bidirectional audio. There it goes.
This is a demo of Vonage's new bidirectional audio connector API. I'm going to demo it today by connecting to an AI voice agent. Let me connect to the voice agent now. Hi.
Hello, how can I assist you today?
Can you describe Vonage's video API in 3 words?
Reliable, scalable, versatile.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's it.
So we'll pop back over here to the slides. Kind of like with uh, the archives, turning on bidirectional audio is fairly simple. Whenever you create a audio connector stream, you can designate it as bidirectional. If you don't, that doesn't mean you can't work with anything at all. You just won't be able to send audio back. But we basically just need to know where the WebSocket itself is located, any streams you want to add to it, any additional headers if you're using those for your own tracking or authentication, and then a client-side token because the WebSocket's basically going to connect to the video session as a client. Again, if it's bidirectional, it'll end up pushing stuff back up. We will put some links to some sample code in the video description here because it does take quite a bit of boilerplate code to accept the audio frame, then turn around and you can pass that off to something like in this case, I believe that was the Novasonic LLM, or to Azure's cognitive services or a Google service, and do a variety of things with that. And then you can push the audio back up if it is a bidirectional stream.
So as of this month, we've been working on something new to make it easier for our customers to build the WebSocket servers. And we have a new audio connector SDK that is coming out very soon. This is a Python-based SDK, but it handles a lot of the underlying complexities of building that WebSocket server. So basically, the SDK allows you to just start up the socket server, the WebSocket server on a port and a host, and it handles all the connections. And with just a few events, like there's an on-event handler for getting audio, the customer application can get access to all of the audio that's coming through the WebSocket. So the audio connector SDK is just a Python library, which if you are a Python shop would make it much easier to build out your own WebSocket server and integrate AI workflows.
And just as a note, we do support other languages. For example, that demo was done in JavaScript on the back end. The audio connector SDK just makes it easier if you're using Python.
All right, so another use case, which we're going to talk about today in telehealth, is remote monitoring. We did a Knowledge Quest webinar a few weeks ago on remote monitoring. So if you want to go into more detail there, we should have links to that. This is going to be just a little less detail and a little more of an overview of remote monitoring within the telehealth and how AI is integrated. So basically, a remote monitoring use case is where you have N participants that are sending their video to a single monitor, which is a human. The human is watching the video feed. So it's kind of mostly it's a one-way video feed. Now there's instances where you might build into your application where the monitor is actually having a video call with one of the participants, but this is a N to one, so one to many. You can have one or more participants sending video into a human monitor. And then we're going to show how we can enhance this use case by using AI agents. So some of the monitoring use cases are patient observation. You can view patients in the hospital, view patients at home. So you might have, we have one customer who has a monitor watching 10 simultaneous hospital rooms to make sure people aren't getting out of bed. We have exam proctoring. So you have a monitor who's watching students taking exams. And so basically these use cases, they combine the use of video and AI to improve patient safety. They can support specialized care. They ensure online integrity. And within fitness and rehabilitation, you can have a monitor watching what you're doing and even help you do your workouts. Next slide. So from a topology, this just is a pictorial image of what we're talking about. So you have multiple participants, they're students or patients. They're sending all their video into the video cloud, and you have a human monitor who is watching those feeds. And then With AI, you can add AI-assisted agents to assist the human monitor. And here we're showing that you can build these AI agents in the cloud, which is on the bottom right. So you can have an AI agent who's getting access to the video through the cloud, or Chris is going to talk a little about how you can do AI processing on the client. There are certain things that are useful within AI to do on the client. We're going to talk a little more about that. Okay, and lastly, as I mentioned, we have the audio connector SDK, which is audio only. But like, for example, in that remote monitoring case, you may want to put a cloud-based AI agent that's actually getting video. So we do have right now a Linux C++ client that you can run in a server that can get access to the video in a Vonage video session. There's not that many people these days or customers with development teams that are writing C++. So in addition to that audio connector SDK, we are actively working on a video connector SDK. And again, this is a Python-based SDK. It's a Python library that will be available in the Python package index. And by using the video connector SDK in Python, the server can get access to all the video frames in the session, pass those video frames off to AI for doing things like object detection, seeing if somebody's getting out of bed, a whole bunch of various use cases. So the Python SDK right now, we have it, it's available for audio only right now, and we are actively working on adding the video component to it, which is due out this quarter. So again, just some other things you can do. You can do content moderation with the video SDK. You can pass video off to actually determine if the camera feed is coming from a real human or a fake. You can do sentiment and emotion analysis. We have a customer who wants it to use when agents are talking to customers about loans, and you can actually kind of get an idea if somebody may be lying, for example. And then lastly, we think is definitely coming now or very soon are video avatars. So for example, you could have a pre-consultation with a nurse or a human avatar, a video avatar to get information from the patient before they meet with the doctor. And again, like the previous slide, the video connector SDK connects into the Vonage media router over WebRTC directly. So with the audio connector, Vonage has a product called Audio Connector that sits between the Vonage session, and it works over WebSockets. Though a video connector SDK ties directly into the media session, the video session, using WebRTC, and can get access to all of the audio and all of the video, and then pass that audio back and forth between the customer application and the AI workflow. Okay, and now I'm going to hand it back to Chris, and he's going to go through the client side and how we can process, use AI agents actually embedded into the browser or into a device.
Yeah, like Michael kind of mentioned, most people probably are not doing these server-based ones, but when it comes to computing power, sometimes there are work streams that are better for that. Most customers are probably using some sort of client-based AI processing. So you'll have your devices set up, and in the SDKs, you can actually access what we call custom transformers through our Vonage media processor. These run in the browser with the video session itself and can pass that data off to either things that are running on the client or grab it and set it off for further processing. The big thing that most people use this for is access to Google Media Pipe. So Google Media Pipe is a separate product, but it allows you to do a lot of different things like face detection, landmark detection, pose detection. So if we talk more about like with the proctoring example, you may want to make sure that someone's staring at the screen while they're doing this instead of looking off to the side. With the fitness, being able to detect is someone just not doing the pose correctly and being able to flag and send that back. But Google Media Pipe gives you access to that, and then the Vonage Media Processor gives you a little bit cleaner interface for working with Media Pipe directly. We have a demo here of Media Pipe using object detection. So if we give it just a second here to pop over, we'll have a little demo here of being able to actually detect whether or not a cell phone is in frame. And here we go.
This is a demo of Vonage Video API's AI functionality. In this demo, I'll be showcasing a few different AI-related use cases. In this case, the context is going to mainly be around proctoring, but you can extrapolate from there and understand how some of these models can be used for a variety of different use cases. To start off, I'll be showing object detection. In this case, we have cell phone detection set up. You can see here that when I hold my phone up to the camera, we'll show a border around the cell phone along with a confidence score, signifying that it's recognizing this object as a cell phone. In this demo, this is primarily being used for cheating detection. The second use case I'll showcase is face mesh. So this model is mainly going to be tracking facial movements and expressions. It can be used for gaze detection, attention detection. It can be used to recognize emotions and sentiment, so on and so forth. And the last model I'll showcase is going to be pose detection. So in this case, I'm going to be able to recognize gestures, detect whether somebody's in frame or not. So as an example, if I were to leave the frame, you can see that the border of the video flashed red, alerting the teacher or proctor that the student is no longer in frame. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Yep, so we have a variety of examples and stuff that actually show off how to implement those. We have a couple other things you could do with the media processor outside of kind of like the traditional AI setup, which is like blur your background, silhouette blur, video backgrounds if you want to add those. But most of it is done through the custom third-party libraries to be able to do the various like liveness detections and stuff like that. We've used Amazon's recognition library as well to do things like liveness detection, to make sure like someone's not just holding up a photo of a face. But the media processor gives you access to a lot of those extra things. Like I said, we'll have a link to a lot of those demos in the video description. So now kind of from here, you can, hopefully that gives you plenty of ideas to think about what you can do with your application to add the AI agents, either with the pre-built products that we have, or if you need to go and implement them yourselves through things like the media processors or the audio and video connectors that we'll be having here soon. If you would like some more information from us, we do have a community Slack. So if you go to developer.vonage.com/community/Slack, you can get a link to join our community Slack channel where you'll be able to talk with most of us. For example, I'm in there. I can help with any questions. If you would like to talk to any of our customer solutions engineers and architects, whether it be Michael or Alex, who was in a lot of our video demos today, you can email them directly. They can give you more information, more resources as well, if you would like to start that up, or if you're in the middle of a project and you've got questions on like how do you actually do like full implementation specific to you, they can answer those questions for you as well. So we do have some time for some Q&A. In the meantime, if you have not played with Vonage before, we do have a coupon code. You can scan this QR code and sign up for a developer account, and then we have a coupon code there for $10 in additional credit that you can test with, and then a link to our developer Slack. We do also have a startup program. So if you are an early stage startup within the last 5 years and a couple other requirements, you can apply for our startup program. You can get up to $75,000 in Vonage API credits, as well as specific support for your startup, and get a little bit more hands-on with us as well. So go to developer.vonage.com/startups. You can sign up to there, and our startup manager will reach out to you to collect some more information and answer any questions you have. And if you are currently using another video provider, you can contact us to talk about a transition service. So we have a QR code there as well. But we're offering 12 months of video and dedicated services to help migrate you over if you are thinking about moving. Again, you can start a conversation with someone like Michael or Alex, and then we can move you on from there. But you can grab some information here as well. So in the meantime, if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer them because we know, like I said, everything is kind of unique. If not, feel free to hop into our Slack and ask any questions there. Like I said, someone will always be available. Um, not seeing anything come through right at this time. So, again, if you do, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to talk to you soon. Thank you very much.